button as we head in. There we go.
You got it. I'm ready to go.
All right, Zath, talk to me through the MHG lineup here as we get into this game on Faroe.
That's right. Now, this is MHG2, or do we want to call it MHG Deuce?
I'm just going to call him the Deuce.
The Deuces
The
are
Deuces.
in. All right. Well, in the Faroe Islands, up to the north spawn in green are the Deuces, and they are running with them for destroyers. A Daring, that's a utility spec, a full COTS spec gearing, and then we've got a Kleber, that's Voodoo X, Yorn, and the original 28. For cruisers, we've got Swerven 007 in a San Martin, Evil Clone 28 in a Stalingrad with range, Rebrand Steve, there's my guy, in a range mod, Petropavlovsk, AT Pyro in the Salem with a reload build, and he's running radar. Behind them are the battleships Kremlin in Ron James Dio. Looks like pretty much everything you'd want just about.
Heavy survivability for sure on the Kremlin, yeah.
Absolutely. And then finally, Captain America 007 with a tanky sniper spec Montana with unique upgrade.
Indeed. All right, 2OP here on the bottom end of the map, wielding a 4-destroyer lineup. We start with Rita Hanawa's Z42, chugging away, headed toward the north end of the B cap. Double teaming the south cap, we have Flippy's Daring. Fairly typical. Gun reload, nothing exciting there. A nice, solid, I would call it quite COTS spec gearing. He is running RPF as well as Swift. That'll be really nice to go with that 5.6 detection on gearing, lots of speed. And then our final destroyer, a Gdansk, Contrail headed up here towards the top of the map. Looking mostly a gun build there, not really surprising for Gdansk.
Right.
Contrail backed up by IRN Ebuki's Salem. That's going to mess me up. Pretty standard, nothing terribly exciting there. This is KMN's Vermont, hanging around towards mid at the moment, running Brisk. I keep seeing Brisk on Vermonts, Zath.
Yes.
Some survivability skills there with fire prevention and the extra heal, but other than that, let's see. Howell's Stalingrad taking up this solid position here towards mid, fielding range mod. And our last cruiser, Bads Des Moines, headed south, legendary mod, backed up all the way in the back here. Oh, we have 2 contrails. I'm realizing we have contrail and contrail _. Okay, well. Anyway, St. Vincent here also running heavy on the heals, not so much on the lesser fire duration, but is running fire prevention, Zath.
Yes. Now, Brisk on Vermont. So one thing to note about Vermont is it's got that extra boost for propulsion. A reminder, by the way, both teams banning Napoli off the face of this earth.
Yes.
And so anyways, the thing is, when it comes to the Vermont, it's because it's got that baked-in engine boost, Brisk is actually relatively useful for it. If it's not detected, it speeds up that much quicker because Brisk is a little bit of an extra boost in its speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it actually comes in really handy for, believe it or not, dodging shells or torpedoes.
Okay.
I learned that trick in the last COTS, doing some COTS deep dives.
Okay. The Gdansk up here on the top end, already getting caught by that early 12-kilometer Petro radar, taking a little chip damage there, 3,000-4,000 early. The A cap flips, the D cap flips, and so early cap advantage going here to MHG2. But I think over the long haul, I'm going to be really curious that they're obviously pushing. They're going for this same kind of bottom end push here. Des Moines, Gearing, Daring, St. Vincent up against, at the moment, only Swerven's St. Martin. But it's going to take some time for that play to develop.
Right. Now, I want to mention something, too. When I commented on Rebrand Steve, the reason I commented on him is in Clash of the Classes 5, he's the dude that single-handedly took on a Massachusetts Black in his Julio at Tier 5.
Interesting. Okay.
And he held his own.
Okay.
Very impressive. Very impressive. This is actually his first COTS, and he's been belly aching a bit about the all the extra work we don't see, right? All the practices, training sessions, all that stuff.
Like, if you want to compete and win money, you got to put in the effort, kids. That's just King of the Sea.
Absolutely. So it's his first, so it's kind of fun to kind of experience it through his eyes, if you will, as he comments and stuff like that accordingly.
Now, interestingly enough, we talked about this, seeing players play Faroe Islands last weekend, Zap, but we didn't see a lot of it cruisers actually surviving to make it into this position that AT Pyro's Salem is in, all the way up here in C3 on the top end of the A cap.
Yes. Yes. Now, he had the help from the gearing smoke to get there. Earlier today, we saw 2 Marsilis do this. Get to that point together, and then they just simply went straight down the A cap. It was a thing of beauty.
Ooh, that would be rude. I'd be very curious to see some teams try to execute that.
Yep.
For the moment, Rita Hanawa's Z42, the target of all that ire, caught under the Petro Hydro on the opposite side of this island back here on the top end of B. So Rita having to back off, still coughing up quite a bit of HP there. But with all of this force they have down on the bottom end of the map, Zath, they don't really have a good way to break into any of these caps up top because it's basically a 7v5 fight at the A and B caps, right?
Right. And this is what typically happens with teams is you have to have a weak side and a strong side. And you can see MHG Deuces are going for weak side, the D cap, or as Puddin likes to call it, donuts, and very heavy for Apple. Yorn might take a torpedo at Apple. He's going to. No, desync. Oh.
Woo! Right down the
That's
side
a
of the hull.
alert.
Just like our intro video, Zath. It just bounced off his hull. No big deal,
God.
right?
Totally realistic. That's the only thing in this game.
100% accuracy, Zath. It's the sort of thing we strive for here in King of the Sea.
That's right.
Well, it looks like the 2OP push is taking its time, but I think we're just a few seconds away now from Flandre's gearing finally getting onto D. Now, he's inside the San Martin radar bubble, but apparently that radar was recently used because we're over 100 seconds away from the next time he's going to have it available. So if he turns and gets in here, he can easily grab this cap and peel out before it becomes a thing. Now, the Stalingrad radar off to his left, he is not in range right now. He's definitely threading the needle here.
Swervin takes a torpedo, 2 torpedoes. He's extremely low, 8,000. He's detected. His DCP is down. His heel is down for another 102 seconds.
Must have been some of those 16-kilometer gearing torpedoes getting him back here, right? That's the thing with with torpedoes. If you're trying to shoot them at in a stern chase like this, the odds of landing them are very, very, very difficult.
Now, I will say I'm surprised that there are no follow-up shots. Swervin is detected.
He's still
they
lit.
They know he's there.
Yep.
They know
finally,
he's low.
St. Vincent shells coming in.
All they need to do is start a fire.
Pulls the handbrake. These are AP shells, actually. Oh,
well, that works too.
And that is enough right through the deck. First blood going to 2OP here. On the bottom end of the map as they grab D.
Yeah, that was a brilliant salvo from that St. Vincent, actually predicting the slowdown.
Solid teamwork. The torpedoes doing the heavy lifting, but the St. Vincent secures the kill. And just like that, 8 minutes in, it's a very close game. Only 8 points between these teams right now.
Right. All right. Very close. Both teams with 2 caps.
So let's look at this from MHG, the Deuce perspective for a moment, Zath. The D push has worked for the moment, but now what? Because
Voodoo's in Delta.
He is, but they're going to push him out very quickly, I think, right?
Yeah, there's the radar.
But okay, so but now what? Like, you can't break into A. That's not going to happen. So can you break into B, or do you have to start looking for someplace you can farm somebody out and pick up a kill?
Oh, you're looking at it from the 2OP perspective. I apologize.
My apologies. I said the wrong thing. I'm looking at it from Team Red's perspective.
Yeah, you were excited to say deuces. That's all.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
But no, you're right. I mean, and then you can see Contrail, the double Contrail was trying to cheekily back up a little bit, get some chip shots in, got radared from even a Salem radar Raptor.
Yep.
And yeah, so how do you get back in if you're 2OP? Honestly, I think you got to find a way to get yourself into the middle. The other thing is, you gotta kite away. If you're the Gdansk, for example, you got to be heading towards like Echo 1, right? You got to head to the extreme edge of the map so that you're able to torpedo stuff that's either showing you a broadside or showing your team a broadside, one of the two. So it's going to be very hard for them to kite away here. It's going to be very hard for them to just go right in to B as well. You can see that MHG Deuces, they've done a really nice job of basically saying, yeah, you want it, come and get it. And there's no way to get in.
The Des Moines is actually lit back here in smoke
Yes.
because the Kleber is close enough to pick him up through the smoke firing penalty.
Yes.
And the Stalingrad was citadeling him. They need to get this Stalingrad, this Kleber off the cap. Oh my goodness, Seth. They're going to get him.
Says hello.
Wow.
Brilliant play right there. And that's the smoke fire penalty working against you.
Wonderful, wonderful team play from the Deuces, Zath. Well done, well executed.
Oh, absolutely. And if anybody can do a favor and clip that moment, please. I'd love to see that for posterity.
That was well done. Now, they do get some torpedoes into clone Stalingrad, and they may yet pick up this kill on Voodoo, although he is dark right now, as Flippy dodges the salvo coming in from the Montana.
Yeah.
Nope, they got Voodoo on the... They got a fire. Voodoo's lit again.
The big thing is, right, the Stalingrad did his job. He took out the Des Moines in a position where, you know, with the help of Montana, of course, but that's the whole idea about the kite side or the weak side. You're looking for opportunities to pick off ships and taking advantage of those opportunities when they show up.
Desperately,
that's exactly what Deuces did.
Desperately trying to secure the kill on this Kleber. He finally does go dark, taking a couple of more shells, but I don't think they can risk him in this cap again, Zath.
No, and the nice thing about that, ooh, big hit there. I was going to say, the nice thing about that is Evil Clone was able to survive a little bit longer because of that.
Clone, I guess the St. Vincent AP came in for him?
Yes.
Is that what that was? Wow.
That was St. Vincent.
Well done. So again, the 2OP push claiming more damage.
Yes, but not before Rita Noah took another salvo he didn't want to. I see the torps on the Salem.
Oh, Ibuki's Salem takes at least 3 conga line torps right there. Brilliant play. He's got the radar up. Had the radar up. Look at the daring. It didn't do him any good. He is really trapped in there. I don't know how you get the Salem out of this position at this stage.
Not only is he trapped, he's also stuck bow in. So he's got a lot less maneuverability than he wants right now.
Well,
DCP and Heel both down.
Also, check out the Gdansk and the Gearing, both on like 5% HP up here.
Yep. Gdansk's doing what I was just mentioning earlier, getting to the very edge of the map so that he can just torpedo in for funsies. But now it looks like he's being brought back. There's the next torpedo salvo. I'm not sure what he's aiming at.
Oh, Yorn opens fire in the smoke. I feel like, no, he's 60 seconds away from the Salem radar, but blind fire in there might kill him. They know,
That's one hit.
Ibuki just hits him. A few more shells, they might get him. Yeah, he secures firing now. He knows that's a losing proposition. All they have to do is fish for him as the Gdansk comes in with, as you like to say, French radar.
That's right. Might as well. He's still trying. He's still fishing, to his credit.
Ibuki is probably going down between... The torpedoes aren't going to do it. It's going to come on the back of somebody's shells here. There we go. The daring fire claims it. And just like that, MHGII catching up on kill parity again.
That's right. Now take a look at the Kremlin. Ron James Dio going into the B cap and just saying, hey, come at me again. Like...
I mean, with that survivability build, hell yeah. Salem picking a fight with the Vermont? That's interesting, given that the Salem is lit. The Vermont salvo actually going in on the Kremlin. Solid hit.
Both battleships for 2OP shooting at the Kremlin right now. You'll note that the St. Vincent is on the broadside, full broadside.
I was going to say, the Vincent should have better angles. I think the Kremlin might have bitten off a little more than he can chew, depending on how the accuracy of these shells starts to come in.
Yep. Here comes the daring to smoke up his buddy.
Yep, they're going to try and buy the Kremlin a little bit of time here. 6.5 minutes to play. 140-point lead here for MHGII. But 2OP still in a position, I think, to win this game with a timely kill because there are some MHGII ships that are quick picks if they get spotted at the wrong moment. I'm looking at you, Gearing and Kleber.
This is absolutely not one of those games that we can just call it right now.
No.
It can go both ways. Vermont getting AT Pyro's Salem, because of the Gdansk's position, Contrail's position, he's able to keep the Salem lit. That's allowing Vermont to shoot him back, and look at what he's doing.
Yep. Petro radar coming up here, picking up both Flandre and Rita right here on the eastern edge of the B cap as they dump their torpedoes back towards the Kremlin. Rita in particular caught out here. Flandre at least has island cover.
Kremlin gets some solid hits on Rita. Rita not dying, though.
Nope. Z42 still in the fight. Still has a few smokes left. Trying to see if they can get a fire on the Kremlin as the torpedoes go in. Daring Hydro is up. So they can see these torpedoes coming. Should be able to dodge most of them. Ron James reverses his engine now, getting some forward momentum so he can dodge this torpedo salvo. Yep, all clear. 3.5 minutes on the timer.
Shots coming in on the Salem. Big hit there.
Ooh, big hit on the Salem. Info radar going up, trying to see if they can find the Gdansk, but Contrail hanging outside of that radar range until now he opens up. This is bold. Are the Salem's guns looking the other way?
Let's take a look. Yes, they are.
That's why, then. He does get a bow fire. Only a few of these shells is all he needs to secure the kill, and he gets it.
Wow.
Big kill.
Great kill by Contrail.
Big kill for 2OP, but it's not enough to flip the score. There we go. Now, Flandre's gearing into B. They know the Petro radar is down as the Petro rebrand, taking a big hit there from the Vermont, who's pushed up into this gap on the south side of A.
Yeah, that's a huge threat right now for MHG Deuces. They are bottled up into like a very small portion of the map right now.
MHG has kind of allowed themselves to get herded all into the same 3 to 4 squares, and 2OP, I think, smells the blood in the water, realizing the advantage they have from a positional perspective, pushing very, very hard to close this game out. Big St. Vincent HE salvo going in on original.
Yep.
Ouch.
Meanwhile, Captain America slapping Flippy's daring. It's basically daring and friends versus each other.
Oh, Contrail, the St.
got the better
Vincent,
friend?
turns into the torpedo salvo, takes 3 of them now.
So the Deuces have better friends.
Has to pop one of his heels to recover some HP. It was as he gets into a secondary duel with the Montana, but his guns still looking back towards mid. Flippy's on double fires over here. Trying to survive, not going to make it.
2 seconds, 1 second, he's going to save it.
No, he's
Tap
not.
that R key.
No,
he
he's
didn't.
not. Wasn't able to smash the R key in time.
Wow.
So each team picking up a kill there as the Petropavlov also goes down.
Yeah,
90,
quite
90,
low now.
90 seconds on the timer. You almost feel like Contrail is really pushing his luck, Sath.
Which one?
Okay, the St. Vincent. I feel like the St. Vincent is pushing his luck in a huge way. I mean, he's got to live another 60 seconds, and there's going to be a bunch of ships shooting at him. I'm not sure that he can do it. Then again,
well,
the Kremlin's also in trouble.
He was trying to look for a shot on the Kremlin.
Vincent's
couldn't
dead.
find it.
Vincent's
Dies
dead.
there, Kleber.
Does he take the Kleber with him?
No.
He does not. Salvo misses. Vermont salvo coming in. Does
Vermont
secure the
doesn't.
Kleber. Shells and torpedoes still going on this Kremlin, who has just weathered all of this like a champ. As he takes his salvo back at the Vermont. Nothing doing.
Goes down to
and then
torpedoes.
he goes out. And now
30 seconds left.
30 seconds on the timer. I think it's finally over for the Deuces, Zath.
Yeah, I agree. They had a really strong early game, but then 2OP managed to just outmaneuver them in the mid game. Right about the time when you said, "Now, Zath, how can 2OP come back?" It's like about then the thing started happening.
We basically said, okay, so you got to get back into a cap, which at the time MHG had a really strong board position that made that difficult, or you got to start picking up kills. And what do? They started securing kills, right? They picked up the San Martin. They picked up the Stalingrad down south. That's what they needed to do to keep pushing up into the MHG backfield. Now, I almost feel like MHG maybe played a little too reactionary, Zath. Seeing that push coming, they might have been able to rotate some ships back to maybe help receive it a bit. They certainly had enough to hold A and B without all those ships.
Well, Raptor, I think the issue was, and I talk about this when I do replay analysis, right? The default decision, if you're not sure what to do, it's to advance. Whether you like that or not, that's what the default decision is for most people. Look what happened with MHG Deuces. What did their Kremlin do? He advanced. Did he need to? No. He came out in front. He got slapped by both battleships on both broadsides of him and just gave away a ton of his HP for relatively free. The Petro, Rebrand Steve, what did he do? He advanced, right? A bunch of the others, and they all advanced to the same spot of the map. Oh, well, it is what it is.
All right, well, let's head back to the studio while we get ready here to get Game 3 coming up, and I guess